Hello family and friends, this is Rob the Sapper Gardener representing Essayons Family Garden, and today we're going to talk about tomatoes, one of the #1 favorite things for growing in the backyard garden, and we're going to talk about ours, and we're going to talk a little bit about determinate versus indeterminate varieties. So let me show you a quick look at what we've got started so far, and then I'm going to sit down and talk about why we grow what we grow and different varieties that you might want to think about when you're growing yours. So let me turn you around. So Roma tomatoes are our #1 tomatoes that we grow. These have gotten really nice size, and we've got more on the table. And we do some other tomatoes, but Roma is our favorite, or maybe tied with San Marzano. And we're going to start hardening them off. Well, we've already started hardening them off. So we've got them in trays that we can pick up, set outside during the day, and then bring them back in after they've gotten a few hours, and then we'll just increase that time and also use the greenhouse if we need to if it's raining. But yeah, everybody's got to have a favorite, and determinate tomatoes are good for us. So let's go upstairs and talk about that. Alright, family and friends, so we're going to talk about something. I did a short video about a week ago showing one of our top 2 favorite tomato varieties, the Roma tomatoes, and just wanted to talk real quickly about why we like the Roma tomatoes and what goes into our thought process when we're planting tomatoes. And this isn't necessarily a how-to video, it's just some information that we think some new gardeners might like, some gardeners who've been planting for a while. We think in the thought of main crops, which are those things that we plant all the time, we plant a lot of, because we know we're going to eat a lot of it. And then we experiment a lot. Anybody that's watched our channel knows that we like to plant a lot of different stuff. Every year we try to do something new that we haven't done before, because that's how we find out if we really like something. And occasionally we find something that we like better than one of our main crop varieties, and we'll substitute that out. But when it comes to tomatoes, we have our top 2 tomatoes based on whether they're determinate or indeterminate. And when we say determinate, like the Roma tomatoes, I probably have one here somewhere, which we grow a lot of different tomatoes, but our top 2 tomatoes, if I can find them in here. And this isn't endorsing any specific brand because we buy from a lot of different seed companies, but our top 2 tomatoes that we grow are Roma, which is a determinate tomato, and San Marzano, which is an indeterminate tomatoes. And that's what I want to talk about today. When we plant tomatoes, we're planting for one of 2 reasons. We're planting tomatoes to harvest for storage so that we can make sauces, we can chop up and freeze, and for that, the determinate is our #1 choice, because when you plant a determinate variety, that tomato plant is going to produce all its fruit in a very short window of time. So if you're canning, you don't want to have to, get, a pound of tomatoes this week, wait 2 weeks to get another pound. You want to be able to go out to your plant and harvest as much as you can so that you have a large amount that you can, sauce up, make pasta sauce. You can make, you know, salsa, whatever you're doing with it. And that's where the determinate plants come in. Determinate tomato plants are sometimes called bush type plants because they're a little bit sturdier. When they grow up, you still have to support them, especially once they start putting fruit on. But they're a nice sturdy plant. I just showed a clip of our tomatoes that we're growing downstairs, hardening off. Those are going to be very thick vines and very sturdy plants. We do stake ours. We do put a trellis around them or a cage around them. But those are going to be your types like the Roma, and there are lots of other different types that you can grow of determinate varieties depending on your taste, which we do. But if you're saucing or doing things like that, that's definitely the one you want to get. Our second thought when we go into planting tomatoes is we like to eat tomatoes fresh, especially my wife. She loves different recipes with tomatoes in them for salads, for just different things, or fresh sauces, or cooking with right away, because nothing beats cooking with fresh ingredients. And if you want tomatoes as long as possible, year-round during the growing season fresh, then that's when you want indeterminate varieties, because indeterminate means that they don't have a determined window of time that you're going to get tomatoes off the vines. And indeterminate are sometimes also called vining tomatoes, because they continue to grow as long as they're mature and the weather's good. Until the frost comes along, you're going to keep getting tomatoes. But you may not necessarily get mature tomatoes all at one time. But if you want to go out and get a pound of tomatoes off your plants to make a meal, or to make some fresh spaghetti sauce or pizza sauce, or just to eat fresh, or to bring in, cut up, and make fresh fried green tomatoes, the indeterminate varieties will allow you to get fresh tomatoes year-round. And for that, our number one tomato variety, which is probably everyone's number one tomato variety, is the San Marzano. And varieties like the San Marzano are a great choice. Again, there are lots of different choices for determinate and indeterminate, and we're always experimenting. My wife went out and got some yesterday or the day before, and one of the ones she asked if I had grown before, and I didn't remember if I had, was the Rutgers. And when you get a new tomato variety, the first thing you want to do is see if it's determinate or indeterminate, because that's going to impact on your harvest. And vining type tomatoes or indeterminate, those require more support because they're usually not as thick a plant as the determinate varieties, but both you're going to have to provide some support. But the indeterminate, you're definitely going to have to provide more. So those are the two thoughts that we go in when we pick a tomato variety, and when we look to see what we're going to get. The Roma is a medium-sized tomato. The San Marzano is a slightly smaller tomato. But you can go in and you can get other types, like you can get beefsteak, which beefsteak are typically an indeterminate, but you may also find some varieties that are determinate or predeterminate. I think is determinate they use, which means that you get a lot at one time, kind of in between the all at once and throughout the season. So go out and experiment with your tomatoes like we do. And if you want to know how a lot of the different ones taste, quick shout out to our friend UT33200. They do a series on their channel where they taste test different tomato varieties, give you some thoughts on the different characteristics, and I think it'd be worth it to go check them out and get some information from them too. And a second choice of another channel we'd like to shout out is CB's Greenhouse and Garden. They do a lot of greenhouse tomato growing, and they also do some hydroponics or aquaponics with theirs, and they could give you a lot of information on the tomato types that they grow also. So, real quick video. We'll try to show you how ours are going as the season goes by, and give you some feedback on some of the newer ones that we're growing, like the Carbon tomato variety, the Rutgers, anything else that we grow that's new. So, short video. I'm gonna get to some chores and spend some time with the family. So, as always, this is Rob the Sapper Gardener, representing Essayons Family Garden, saying God bless our great country America, and God bless you wherever you reside around the world. Take care. Sapper out.